You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
3, 2, 1.
Spook.
We are gathered here as advisors, as scientists.
The kind of place we expect a ghost to like to wander around.
Hey, we all know that we're gonna die, baby.
I'll help you. I'm something of a witch.
Welcome to Mission Spooky. I'm your fantastic host, JC, and with me today is, as per usual, the pretty okay Kiki. How you doing over there, Kiki?
I'm pretty okay.
Good to hear. How have you been living in this COVID world?
I hate everything and people.
Same here. I just want to tell a quick story. So my place of business, we're not really supposed to enforce masks. If somebody comes in without a mask, we're not supposed to really enforce anything. So I went up, I'm like, hey sir, do you have a mask? And he's like, no, I have asthma. First of all, I don't care. Secondly, I'm like, oh, I have asthma too. And I'm wearing a mask. And he just gave me this look like, oh fuck, I forgot asthma is actually something people have and can't just use as a shitty excuse to be a shitty person in their community. Yeah, he's a piece of shit and I hope he dies. I mean,
Whoa.
at this point, people have no reason to not wear masks.
I know.
If you're going into somewhere public, wear a fucking mask.
A fucking one.
Sure, yeah. All of my masks are handmade for fucking.
By the way, please don't look up fucking mask on Google. You're not gonna get
I'm
exactly what you're looking for.
Googling it right now, and I will explain. I almost started typing Google into Google.
Oh my god, don't break the internet.
Actually, a lot of it's like COVID stuff. Oh, this mask. I love this mask. It's a mask that says, fuck you, you fucking fuck. Hashtag wear a fucking mask.
I like this one. A mask is not a political statement, it's an IQ test.
Mhm.
These are remarkably a lot better than I expected.
Yeah, me too. I was expecting people like pictures of people fucking with masks on. So
I was also picturing something completely different that I've seen in places on the internet that people shouldn't go to. That's all I'm gonna say.
but yeah, so
Anyway, yeah, nothing's going on.
have you watched anything interesting lately?
I'm trying to watch The Boys first season, which I got into like the first 3 episodes are fantastic. I'm in it. Like I want to finish it.
You didn't watch that last year?
No, I did. Yeah, no. I
How are
didn't.
we even friends?
I didn't even know that you watched it. Okay, shut up. Carl Urban is like, my boy. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm real surprised you didn't watch it.
loving him. And then Umbrella Academy season 2 just dropped, so I'm just like, fuck, I have too many things I need to watch, so and too many podcasts to edit.
And listen to and respond to and to
Yeah.
talk to and
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I'm
people-
so glad all I have to do is work.
and talk.
Work and talk. Oh, I live the life. Oh, if only that was true. We were going to record yesterday, and I ended up working for 13 hours. It was wonderful.
Fine, because I wasn't ready to record yesterday.
You're
I'm
not
barely
ready to
ready
record today.
Oh
I was
man.
wondering why, like, last week you didn't, like, message me, like, hey, we got to record this episode. And then today make it, oh, she wasn't ready.
Well, okay, so the funny thing is that I completely forgot to text you and let you know that it was Gish Week.
Yeah, no. What the fuck is Gish Week, Kiki?
The greatest scavenger hunt ever known, set up by Misha Collins of Supernatural fame. So I have to go about scavenger hunting, and we were super busy. I had to do a whole bunch of crazy fucking shit. It was great. I love it. But it just ended on Sunday, and I seriously thought about just kind of taking a week off like we did last time around, because there were 3 Gishes actually this year. 2 of them were the first 2 like mini Gishes ever. for the stay at home during quarantine. I did the first one, not the second, and then this was the live, like for real one, where you win like a grand prize. And I'm not even sure what the fuck it is because I didn't have time to read about it. Whatever. All I know is that I made a clock out of sausage and it worked. So, done.
Nice.
If anybody's interested and you want to sign up for next year's gish, it's just GISH. This all goes to charity. So I was actually busy doing charity work in a way. Yup. So I will say this. Our featured music today is, I'm going to tell you guys early. It's going to be from Foghorn Lonesome. Eric has a new song out called Strawberry Moon, and we're going to be playing that later. We always encourage you guys to go support our musical guests, but this week is special. The deal is, if you guys go to Bandcamp and purchase any music from Foghorn Lonesome from today until September 10th, lead singer and mastermind of Foghorn Lonesome, Eric, is donating all proceeds to a research fund in honor of a friend who lost their battle with cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, it was actually his best friend's son who passed away.
Oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, so please consider heading over to Bandcamp and making a purchase in honor of this great cause. We would appreciate it. And since Mission Spooky has already bought all of Foghorn Lonesome's music, we'll probably do something separate. We can donate directly to the fund as well. And I, on Instagram, gave you guys that information, so it will be there. So barring anything else that we want to talk about before we actually delve into the craziness that is this episode, the voice connectivity on this is going to be so fucking great, guys. I'm watching my Discord go from red to green like every 2 seconds. I don't even know why. No one's on the internet. I don't understand. This week, we're featuring Scry podcast once again. Scry serves as your audio medium, your oral obsidian mirror into the darkness that dwells in the depths of the shadow realms.
Is that where they send people in Yu-Gi-Oh?
I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You don't play Yu-Gi-Oh?
No.
You play Magic the Gathering, right?
It's a dumb game. Yu-Gi-Oh is a dumb
What's
game.
a dumb game?
Yu-Gi-Oh is a
No,
dumb
it's not.
game.
Nah, brah. Alright, continue on with your story.
Pokemon's an even stupider game. There, I said it.
I don't even... Whoa. I would make a strong argument that Pokemon is probably the most complicated of all the fucking trading card games, because I am close to 30 and still don't understand how to play that game.
We're screwing up the Scry thing. God damn it.
I played Magic the Gathering. I played fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Hearthstone. I played other ones. I get them all very quickly. Fucking Pokemon blows me away.
Or it just blows. That's
No.
you were on the
no.
right track.
It is mind-boggling how complicated and crazy the game is.
So once again, we've somehow managed to completely screw up our promo for someone else.
You're welcome.
You're going to remember Scry, though, because of all this crap that we're talking about in between.
Every time you see a Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, or Magic card, you're gonna
Boom,
think
Scry. But not scrying as in D&D scrying, because that's not the same thing. There,
True.
I gave you something else to think about. So, Scry features experiences shared through user submissions and collected elsewhere. Join your host, The Seer, in the latest episode of Scry as he conjures forth 3 true tales of terror. From cursed farmlands to mysterious apartments and spectral sightings, this episode, I can confirm, did contain plenty of chills. When we get back, listener choice for Peculiar Pennsylvania, Gallitzin's Crypt.
Ooh, spooky.
Welcome to Scry, a podcast that journeys beyond the veil that separates our realm from that of the shadows.
With this horrific grin on her face, and then started twisting her head.
Scry features true tales of ghosts, demons, and dark entities as shared by those who experience them.
Next to her was the reflection of someone else.
With tensions heightened through an eerie score and atmosphere-building sound effects.
You are not supposed to see me.
Stare into the obsidian mirror at scrypod.com or subscribe to Scry through your favorite podcast app.
So no one liked theirs, and I got there late. So I said, don't worry guys, I'll take care of this. And I took all 5 straws into my mouth at one fucking time and got fucked. by alcohol. Because I just drank all 5 gin and tonics at one time.
Oh.
Plus, I drank mine. So 6 gin and tonics. Real quick.
Uh-huh.
And this is who you decided to do a podcast with.
Yeah.
An idiot.
Decisions were made before I really knew who you were. It's all right, whatever. Cool.
Nothing but regret.
Maybe that should be on a t-shirt. Mission Spooky. Nothing but regrets.
I like it. I like it. That could be on like the back of me riding a swonk.
Yeah. So welcome back, guys. We were discussing regrets and gin. Kind of forgot to welcome you back. Either way, we were discussing regrets and gin and tonics.
But
Yeah.
what we're going to be discussing is the something crypts.
Kiki's totally phoning this in. It's going to be great. Yeah. We're going to be discussing Gallitzin's Crypt.
Glitzin's Crypt.
Gallitzin, as in...
How do you spell that?
Gallitzin. Gallitzin. It is Russian. I'm going to give you guys a basic rundown here. Who Demetrius Augustine Gallitzin was first. And then we're going to get into something really cool that I really thought I was just going to be talking about the crypt and a little bit about who this guy was. And then it turns out that he's part of one of the weirdest ghost stories, not from Pennsylvania, but he was from PA. So it fits. We're going to do it. And interestingly enough, the man at the center of the ghost story, he moved to Virginia, but from Pennsylvania. So there's still a really strong PA connection here all the way around. Demetrius Augustine Gallitzin was born in The Hague, Netherlands, on December 22nd, 1770. His father was Prince Dmitry Gallitzin of Russia. That is a different spelling of last name, by the way, which you'll see often happens with when you come into America. I mean, even it happened to my own grandparents, so there's a slightly different spelling of his father's last name.
You mean to tell me that not everyone was named Smith when they moved to America?
Oddly enough, Demetrius, he was actually called himself Demetri Smith for a little while.
Oh, so he was a Smith.
Just a little bit, yeah. You'll find out why.
And just for those that don't know, when people immigrated to America and you had a weird last name, whoever the immigration officer was considered a weird last name that they didn't feel like trying to get you to spell, they would just change your name to Smith.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Or they just completely misspelled it. Like they just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
like my great grandmother, her married name, we believe, was Battaglia, but they just called her Battle when she got to New York. Yeah, because the guy probably just didn't want to try to figure out how to spell Battaglia correctly.
Yeah. Welcome to America, where we change your fucking name, cause fuck you.
Yeah, that's basically it. Anyway, so his father has a slightly different last name spelling, which is Golitsyn. Same family, though. So his dad's also a Russian ambassador to France, and then later an ambassador to the Netherlands as well. His mother was a Prussian countess, the daughter of Field Marshal Schmettau. He had a sister called Mimi, who was 1 year older than him. Catherine the Great served as his godmother at his baptism into the Russian Orthodox Church. She supposedly held him in her arms and appointed him an officer of the guard, which is a big deal.
Like as a baby?
Yes.
You're gonna have a baby as the officer of the guard? That's not strategic or tactical. You want somebody who's at least, maybe seen a fight or knows how to do a guard schedule at the bare requirement. Having a baby, that's just nepotism at its finest.
Yeah. He could barely hold a bottle, but they put a knife in his hand.
And tell him to kill.
Right?
I mean, to be fair, he is Russian, so makes a little sense.
That's actually a compliment to anyone listening who's Russian. You guys kick ass.
Yes. Now kick Putin's ass.
Yes.
And thank you.
When I think of Russia, I'm sorry, I think of like World War II Russia, where they're kicking the Germans' ass. And
continue on, Kiki.
Not the first part of the fight, the second part of the fight. Then they kick the Germans' ass.
Yes, once winter set in.
Yes.
If you're ever gonna invade Russia, maybe not when it's winter.
All I have to say is if you don't know that part of history, go read it, because if you want to read some good shit about revenge stories, Russians took no prisoners.
No, not many. Very, very, very few. And some would say that the prisoners that they did take...
Wish they were dead. Anyway, okay, so when he was young, he and his sister traveled extensively, spending quite a bit of time in Germany. He wound up having military training and studied engineering.
I'd hope so. He's the guard.
He's a guard,
He better
baby.
get some goddamn military training.
At least they waited until he was older for the actual military training.
Yeah, before it was just, let's tape him up there with a knife and, there's a pull string, When the queen feels threatened, she or whoever, I don't fucking know who he's guarding. But whenever they feel threatened, they just pull a string and a baby with a knife drops down on their opponent. Oh,
Okay.
that's fun.
I now have a really great
Shirt idea number 3.
No, it's worse than that in a way.
Oh god.
I was like, oh my god, a D&D campaign, only make it a goblin.
Or a gnome.
Oh my gosh, yes. I have a string to pull in case of an emergency. Dimension door, baby. Out pops a fucking goblin with a knife right on your face.
I like it. Sounds like a good time. Let's make it happen.
Okay. Oh, my poor husband. He's the one that's gonna have to go through all this crap. Anyway. Yeah, I got stories. Oh my god. He studied engineering, and he was preparing for a life as a professional soldier. In 1787, though, he, his mother, and his sister all converted to Catholicism.
Nope.
Man. Being an aristocrat, he would have completed his education by traveling through Europe, but much of Europe was at war at the time, and there was also the nasty business of many Russian aristocrats getting their heads chopped off. So
wait, when was this?
1787.
Oh, okay.
And then by 1792, his mother is sending him to America to basically escape all of that, and sending him to America under an assumed name. So nobody knew that he was a Gallitzin. Yeah. While he's comes to America, he's under the care and tutelage of a young priest. And while he's here, he travels under this name of Augustine, which was his confirmation name, and his mother's last name, Schmettau. And he also went by Augustine Smith as well. And there you have the reasoning for that. During this trip to America, though, he decides that he's going to enter the priesthood.
As long as the priesthood didn't enter him, that's all I'm saying.
No, he was too old. He was about 22 by this time. But, guys, I was Catholic during the height of the priest's pedophilia thing. As a matter of fact, it even happened in my parish, so I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want about how gross that was. Anyway, during this trip to America, he decided to enter the priesthood, which in turn made him give up his inheritance and royal status, but that did not stop him from asking for both of those things repeatedly over the years. In other words, I want my money, and I'm still a royal. Of course, he can say whatever he wants because now he's in America, so he was safe.
Yeah, because America has freedom of speech.
Oh boy.
Protected by the Second Amendment where everybody got them goons.
Anyway, so Gallitzin was ordained Father Augustine Smith, still keeping his code name, in 1795, which made him the first man to receive his orders in the 13 original colonies. Kind of a BFD. He traveled to Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. He eventually founded the first English-speaking mission in Loretto, Cambria County, PA. Loretto is an Italian shrine, so he named the town after it in 1799, and he used his skills as an engineer to lay out that new town. In 1802, he became a naturalized citizen of the U.S., and oddly enough, about the same time, he asked to be officially known as Demetrius Augustine Gallitzin once again. There is some speculation as to why he did this. And one intriguing theory that has some solid evidence is that a one Anne Elizabeth de Doschkopf, who moved to Loretto around that time and became very good friends with Gallitzin, was actually none other than Anna Petrovna, the illegitimate daughter of Catherine the Great. I like that story. It's pretty cool. There's a little.
She came to PA
Yes.
and banged a priest?
No.
Oh.
No, she came to PA and she got married to a man whose last name I believe is Wharton. And they had a bunch of kids, but they would have known each other from their time spent in the Netherlands together.
So do you think they just got high and were like, yo, but like hear me out here. Hear me out. 1 second. What if you went back to your Russian name, dude? Like Gallitzin. Pretty fucking baller. You think that was the conversation?
I think the basic conversation was he recognizes her as Anna Petrovna. She's like, don't tell anybody because they'll fucking kill me. And you know,
if you could just not tell people that, that'd be awesome. Real cool of you, bro.
It's more like you know what? Screw it. I know who you are. You know who I am. I have nothing to lose. I'm gonna change my name back because by then he was pretty well protected here in America. So anyway, so Gallitzin, very interesting life, but in paranormal circles, he's not just known as a remarkable priest and caretaker of orphans, because he took very good care of orphans. There is a ghost story in here that often biographers and church historians don't even touch on it.
Well, that's sad. Ghost stories are the best kind of stories.
Right? I want to touch those stories. And that is the story of Wizard's Clip. Have you ever heard of this, JC? Wizard's Clip.
Trying to think of a magic missile joke where you only because like a clip full of clips.
Yeah, no.
No, it's too difficult. No, Kiki, I haven't heard of Wizard's Clip.
There you go.
Why don't you tell me about it?
All right, so guys, I've read 3 renditions of the story. Only one rendition has the main quote unquote character being sort of like, oh, the poor guy. The other 2 paint him out to be a kind of a dick. So I'm going with the dick story.
Always go with the dick story, Kiki. Always.
Yeah, I feel the same. I'm going to actually meld those 2 things together because I feel like maybe this guy was all like, oh, poor pitiful me. This shit happens to me. But in reality, you find out he's a dick.
You know what? That's a dick move. So yeah, I could definitely see dickhead doing that.
Exactly. All right. And the dick in question is one Adam Livingston.
Probably has a small dick too.
Right? While Gallitzin is training to be a priest, something odd is going on in nearby Virginia, not far from where he's in training, right?
Okay.
The story goes that in the 1790s, this guy, Adam Livingston, a Lutheran, living on his estate in the Shenandoah Valley, he had his wife and his kids there.
Okay.
He begins witnessing strange things around the house. The first thing is that cattle are dying without explanation. Now, supposedly, this is a problem that came with him. He lived in Pennsylvania first, and then he moved to Virginia because he was saying that, oh, I had problems with my cattle dying in Pennsylvania, and now I'm in Virginia. So number 1, maybe you just suck at taking care of cattle.
Which is really weird, because don't you just, like, let them out to eat? Like, you just, here's some grass, dudes, and they just munch on the grass? I feel like it's not that difficult to take care of cattle. Like, I mean, obviously it's expensive. Like, you gotta house them, medical crap, actually water them and give them proper food and blah, blah, blah. Obviously.
I feel like someone who has a degree in agriculture right now is like, it's a lot fucking harder.
Fucking flipping out.
Yeah.
Dick. But, like, I just feel like...
And animal husbandry.
In 1790s, I feel like maybe it wasn't that difficult.
In 1790s, your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents have been passing this shit down to the family. You know, maybe they weren't supposed to be cattle farmers, you know? Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Yeah, but then you can just go to, like, anyone on the street and be like, hey, how do you raise cows? And they'll tell you, because it's the 1790s, everyone knew.
Okay, hold up. So let's keep in mind this guy's a dick.
Oh, so you think they're telling him, he's probably going up to him and be like, hey, fucker, how you raise cows? Oh, well, first off, you feed them only meat.
Yeah, really. Grind up meat of their own kind. Cannibal cows, baby.
Cannibal cows. If that's not a band name, I'm pissed.
It is now. Mission Spooky brings you Cannibal Cows. We know enough musicians. Let's get on this. Come on, seriously, guys. I can sing.
I can't, but I will.
You'll try. And let's say the guy's an asshole and nobody wants to help him, maybe. Anyway, the other part of this is that he says the house is also haunted, that he's being awakened at night by the sound of galloping horses and wagons charging through the living room and furniture moving around and dishes being moved and broken, etc., right? Very vaguely sounds almost like poltergeist with some of that stuff, right? But he claims that the worst part of this is what he calls the clipping. The family would hear the sound of scissors or shears cutting, and they'd wake up and their clothing would be cut into crescent shapes. That's fucked up.
Why crescents? Like, that's such a weird shape.
Because maybe the ghost wasn't French, so it wasn't a croissant.
How do I hang up?
You can't hang up on Discord. You can just log out. Don't you dare, though. I don't feel like bringing you back in here. God damn it. Anyway, the townsfolk comes over. Other members are there and witness this stuff. Like maybe, they come over in the morning for coffee and the wife is like, what the fuck? Like all my clothes are cut up in the crescent shapes. People supposedly have seen the aftermath of this. And so the Livington estate becomes known as the Wizard's Clip or Cliptown. Cliptown, I love that. It's so funny. This first story says that Livingston had tried everything to stop the hauntings. He finally begged local ministers for help. He asked all kinds of different people, like Episcopalians. My favorite, he tried a local practitioner of Brockerei, the German term for like basically witchcraft, but it's the kind of witchcraft that's using the Christian God. We're going to get into Brockerei in probably in October, that episode that we're going to be doing. It's really going to be cool. But anyway, I thought it was interesting that he was using the local, even in Virginia, you've got some PA Dutch down into Virginia. So there's Brockerei down there. He offered a local sorcerer. I love that word. Like a local sorcerer. Who is this guy? Double payment if he could get the job done and get the place like unhaunted. And, hellish rebuke. I don't know. So Gallitzin winds up getting called into this eventually. In this version, Livingston comes to this conclusion that Christ can no longer have any true ministers on earth because no one can help him get rid of this haunting in his house, right? Again, keep in mind, the other two stories kind of make him out to be an asshole. He already sounds like one to me.
Wait. So he's tried like 5 people and just gave up. Just obviously no one believes in Christ anymore because these 5 fuckheads can't help. What the fuck? Statistically, that's just not right.
Oh, the funny part is that, like I said, in this particular story, he has a Roman Catholic peddler who shows up one night and goes to stay overnight at the house because the house is sort of an inn as well for travelers. And he barely makes it through the night before he's like, this place is definitely messed up. You need to call in some Catholic priests to set things right. Now, of course, he's Lutheran, so the last thing he wants to do is call in Catholics. Yeah.
Yes. Lutherans and Catholics notoriously don't get along.
Usually don't. So Reverend Dennis Cahill at this point gets involved. This story has it saying that Livingston had a dream about a man who was going to help him and that it was this guy. Like when he meets him, he's completely astonished that it's Cahill. Father Cahill's very dismissive of the story. He's like, you're crazy. This can't be happening. It was Livingston's neighbors at the time who basically begged him to come to Wizard's Clip and solve this problem. So Cahill comes in. He does some sprinkling of holy water, does his thing. Supposedly, he witnessed like this invisible hand almost like laying money that was lost on a mantle, and that the house was pretty quiet after that. But then the trouble starts all over again, and now we've got Father Gallitzin comes into it to conduct a full investigation. And this is the reason that his crypt is visited quite often here in PA, is that he's considered one of the first paranormal investigators because of the way that he wrote everything down. Unfortunately, the book that he wrote everything down in is lost. But the cool part is that there are some letters that were being written back and forth between like another woman who was witnessing the stuff with him. Her letters are like the corroborating evidence of what Gallitzin did during the investigation. So we may not have his book anymore, but we have all these really great letters talking about everything that he did do. Wish we had the book, though. That'd be really cool to read. I would love to read that. So he does this investigation. Again, I can't really get too much into it because we're missing a lot of the pieces. He does do one thing. He's basically interrogates everyone who's involved, wants to know everything that's going on with them. And that's not unlike what you do now during a paranormal investigation. You know, when you take the family members and you're interviewing them and you're trying to get as much information out of them alone, separately, to see if all the same stories match up. So he's cross-examining people. And Gallitzin doesn't want to do an exorcism for whatever reason. That much was certain. He's figuring that there's something else there. Something else needs to be done to just put the spirit to rest. And here's where I'm going to tell you guys the story that I believe is probably closer to the truth as far as Livingston. This is also interesting too, because the other two stories talk about how Livingston was, quote, dissatisfied with his residence in Lancaster County in Pennsylvania, and he decides to move to Virginia. Now, if he's in Lancaster at this time period, this is probably also why he knows what a Brockerai is, because this is PA Dutch magic. So 1790, he moves to Virginia, but nothing out of the ordinary really happens until 1794. Both stories say that a middle-aged, respectable-looking stranger appeared at their door at the estate and asked if he could be a boarder in the house, because again, I was saying, like, this is a pretty big place. They're looking at possibly making this also an inn, and so they're looking to make a little bit more money off of this. They bring the guy into the house. Only a few days after he gets there, he becomes very, very sick, and he's really scared that he's going to die. As he gets more and more ill, he's like, listen, I'm Catholic. Can you please get me a Catholic priest so I can have my last rites? I feel like I'm not going to make it. Livingston, being Lutheran, and according to Gallitzin, this man was a bigoted Lutheran and was lazy and did not want to go find a priest for this guy. He claimed that he, quote, knew of no priest in that neighborhood, and if there was one, he should never pass the threshold of this door. So this dying man, who, by the way, keep in mind, he's been paying him to be there, keeps asking and begging him for spiritual aid, right? I need a Catholic priest. I want my last rites. Doesn't get it, and he dies. Without his name ever being known, by the way. So this guy's been there for a few days, and they didn't even bother to ask him his fucking name. The one story says that he basically just buried him in the backyard on unhallowed ground and didn't give a single shit. And all of this stuff didn't come out until after Gallitzin was already there to investigate all of the terrible things that were going on at the estate. So, as was sort of tradition too at this time, you would have people come and sit in with a corpse.
No, I would not, because I don't like having people over.
You know.
No, there's just so many questions. Like, hey, JC, why is there a corpse in your living room?
It's special.
It's a corpse.
Right, it's a corpse thing. Oh my god, never mind. I was like, t-shirt. So on the night that he dies, Livingston apparently employs a guy to sit with the corpse. Like I said, this was not unheard of. But right after the candles are lit, they start going off. The guy relights them several times. They still keep going out.
Well, that's spooky.
They even tried to bring candles in from another room. Like Livingston was like, maybe it's just the candle. Like it could be a defective candle. Let me bring candles in from my room that I know damn well are lit, and I'll blow them out. I'll bring them in here. We'll relight them. Same thing happened. They just got blown out.
Oh.
Apparently, this guy then leaves the house, totally freaked out, and is like, fuck it.
I mean, honestly, having lights or shit like that played with by the spirits, it's creepy.
Yeah.
Because mentally, having that light is what keeps you safe. At least, as long as I'm in the light, the ghost can't get me. And then the ghost is like, hold my beer. I'm gonna fuck you up.
People used to have to sit with a corpse, and then they would play tricks on each other.
What? That's so evil.
There's some really good ones that we might have to talk about a few of them, because some of them did happen in PA, and I was like, oh fuck, that's not good.
Oh, I'm in.
So anyways, this guy leaves. Livingston buries the guy, and sure enough, this is the very day that shit gets real. Fuck just burning the candles out. I am gonna destroy your life.
Well, that's unfortunate.
You know, vengeful spirit, really pissed off. Both of these other renditions go into how cookware, which would have been called crockery at that time, this stuff is getting smashed all over the house. The galloping of the horses, all of that's all the same. And the cutting of the crescent shape, all of that is the same. Only these other two stories mentioned that it's a quote unquote curious figures cut out. And it wasn't just in the clothing, but it was in blankets and boots and everything they owned, like sheets, everything that could be cut. So 3 months of that, 3 straight months of that before they were just like
done with it.
Well, sometimes it would be 24 hours straight. Everyone in the family would swear they were hearing the sound of shears clipping, clip, 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 clip.
That's crazy. That's real spooky, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, oh, fucking hell. It's at this point, the 3 months afterward, that, you know, Gallitzin would show up and really start interrogating everybody. And, you know, that famous quote about him being a bigoted Lutheran, and that he basically said he would never have a Catholic priest come over his door. Well, man, kind of funny that this ghost, what happens, 2 Catholic priests have to come into that. Like, he's begging them to come into the house and do, you know, an investigation. There you go. Apparently it was solved. One of the stories mentions that basically that Gallitzin asks the spirit to move on, and that everything starts to settle down. And eventually this guy, Livingston, gives some of his massive amount of property that he owns. He gives a portion of it to a Catholic church in which they can have a cemetery. And that the quote-unquote mysterious stranger, he made sure that his burial was then inside. There is a marker in that cemetery that says mysterious stranger. It's real, y'all. As far as that goes, it happened. The guy died. Yada, yada, yada. But that's Wizard's Clip for you and Gallitzin. So let me tell you, if you want to go visit, because you can, Loretto, PA is about an hour and a half east of Pittsburgh, 2.5 hours northwest of Gettysburg. There's a lot of other cool stuff to do in that area as well. Robert Peary claimed to be the first person to reach the North Pole. He was born not far from there too. So I think there's like a little thing you can go visit for that. And there's the Prince Gallitzin Chapel House that has historic artifacts from that time. And that sits right next to Loretto Cemetery. The museum doesn't have like what's considered regular hours. You kind of have to call ahead and see what's going on. And of course with COVID, you know, I always have to mention it, but they might be closed on a more permanent basis. Yeah, but his crypt is there. It's really cool looking. I was reading just a little bit about this. I think that he was buried originally in something very plain, and then they changed it. Like, you can go down into it, the crypt where his body is. People often will leave like things behind, you know, like little letters and things like that. And then there's this huge statue of him above. I always post in pictures, so I'll let you guys know what it looks like. It's really beautiful. And they say you can see the Appalachian sunrise over his crypt. So, which is actually nice, because it turns out he was very much an outdoorsy person. Even as a kid, he loved exploring. There you go, guys. Prince Gallitzin. JC fell asleep. Pretty soon, I'll just hear snoring from the mic. This is what happens when you work for like 13 hours, and then you listen to my voice. Before you know it, boom, out cold. Ask my husband. All right, guys. As I said, our featured music today is a brand new song from Foghorn Lonesome, and that's called Strawberry Moon. When we get back, Spooky Squad news and shout outs, probably without JC, because I think that he fell asleep on the mic.
She felt like dripping honey in my arms that night in June, when our galaxies collided perfectly under the strawberry moon that colored the sky like an endless canvas in a million red hues. We had our own constellations, Corday and Runic, that twinkled just for us, and it felt like no force could ever part us. Two longing souls finding refuge in each other's embrace, and like magic, our hearts beat in sync, and all inner and interstellar frequencies had had aligned as one in a low, omnipresent vibration.
All right, welcome back, Spooksters. If you want to join the squad, head on over to patreon.com/missionspooky. We have tiers to $1 and $5 levels. One single buck gets you a shout out on the cast and access to our boober reels. Our $5 tier, we got some really cool shit that we're working on for as far as just redoing everything Patreon. Anyway, you can send PA, New Jersey, or Delaware-based ghost stories to us at missionspookypodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to email us any questions or comments on any previous episodes. If you are a local band, PA, New Jersey, Delaware, or you just own your own music and you'd love to be featured on the podcast, just like Foghorn Lonesome from Stockholm, Sweden, please feel free to contact us through private message on Instagram or Twitter. You'll get me, or you can email us directly at that missionspookypodcast@gmail.com. You can find our musical guest songs on Spotify by typing in Mission Spooky 2020 in the search bar. We're going to continually be adding to that list as we go. And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Mission Spooky, and on our Facebook page, which, if JC was awake, he'd rule with an iron fist. Don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes and Podchaser. Just remember to be kind. Taking us out once again is Foghorn Lonesome with Strawberry Moon. And as always, guys, stay spooky and don't die. But if you do, contact us. Well, if JC were awake, he'd probably tell you to send some coffee.
There was a smell of lavender in the cool summer air, and her gentle eyes sparkled with a rainbow wonder that drew me in so soothingly into a safe harbor I'd never felt before. I whisper things in her ear no one else will ever hear, words from a place few have known. We surrendered everything, fear, scars laid bare, nothing held back, as we descended together into a warm abyss of deep affirmation. She had woken my heart from a long slumber, and now it was roaring with love like lava, all-consuming and unstoppable. Every kiss, every caress, every touch, breath, moment, and the spiritual intimacy we shared felt like cursive poetry, simply heavenly. But cold and cruel is the universe with its deceiving stardust and cosmic sway. A sudden shift in balance when our blood diamond in full bloom began to phase away into the wild black yonder. Frequencies interrupted and constellations reset by an unknown disturbance in the cosmos that was felt through every cell as it invaded our space, in which our astral and solar symbiosis was pulsating. Beethoven's sonata and a static noise reverberated across the Milky Way like ripples of the saddest energy. A soft wind blew over us, and in my arms she instantly turned into a ghostly shimmer that flickered like a broken signal, and within seconds she was gone. An amber wisp of her essence drifted up towards the fading moon as if it had called for her, leaving behind particles of peridot and tourmaline that glittered like snow in the last lunar rays. My heart pulverized as she was so quickly taken from me, a complete reversal of time and space as if things never were. My cries echoed unanswered in a silent night that felt like a grave of fulfilled wishes that came untrue. But no words are enough for my pain and yearning, my infinite love and the depths of my sorrow. Now her spell lingers as I'm haunted by the emptiness between the stars. I look for her every night, but she's in someone else's sky now, majestic and bright. My Luna Fortuna, my goddess of light, now my darkness and kryptonite. I now